All right. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of AppSource Central. This is episode number 11. Here we discuss Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central apps on AppSource and talk to the ISVs behind those apps. Today, I have the pleasure of having an ISV from India, Cetas. Hope I'm saying it correctly. And today I have Murali and Vicky with me from Cetas. Murali, Vicky, thank you for joining the show.
Thank you for having us,
Thank you.
Sararat. Yeah, nice to be here.
Yeah, my pleasure. Can you please, let's start from introducing yourself. Can you please briefly introduce yourself?
Absolutely, Ararat. So, myself, Murali Avanamuthu, I am the founder director of Cetas. We started Cetas in the year 2010, and we are today a team of 160 people. Vicky here is the head of technical of the NAV BC practice. He has been with us for the past 13 years, and he manages the entire technical team of about 35 NAV BC consultants.
Wow, fantastic. And yep, that's an introduction for both yourself and Vicky. That's perfect. And can you give us a bit of a background of Cetas itself? So the history and then the Business Central, the involvement of the Business Central practice.
Definitely, Ararat. Yeah. So when we started in the year 2010, we signed up with Microsoft as a NAV Dynamics NAV partner. The company was founded by two people, one myself and another my partner, the other co-founder, Mr. Kabilan. So I handle the technology and delivery in CETAS because I come from the technology background. And Kabilan comes from a sales and marketing background, so he handles that function. And we both used to work in another Dynamics organization here in India, and then we decided to step out, and then we floated CETAS. And so we have been doing this Dynamics NAV and now Business Central for the entire 15 years of our journey. And within Dynamics, we started obviously as a reseller to start with, and we started implementing Dynamics NAV and with other add-ons like LS Retail for the retail add-on, and few few other add-ons. And then we sensed there is an opportunity to create add-ons ourselves. So that's where our ISV journey started, and we started creating this initial add-on called Now Build, which is today we have rebranded as NB projects, and we then proceeded with various other add-ons, which I will talk in a minute. So that's been our journey with the Dynamics NAV and Business Central. Later we expanded, we became an outsourced delivery partner for various partners globally, and also we expanded our own geographical presence. We opened our office in Bangalore. Our head office is in Chennai, which is where we started in the year 2010. We started in Bangalore, and we also branched out to Dubai. And recently we have incorporated in the US as well. So this has been our geographical spread. In terms of partners, we work with about 25 partners globally, both representing us from an ISV product reselling point of view, or we serve as an outsourcing delivery arm for those partners. So our delivery model focuses more on partner-led deliveries, both for ISV as well as for our services. And apart from Dynamics NAV or Business Central, we also do have practices on Accepta, which is AX, and now today called as F&O, Finance and Operations. And we also do have a CRM practice. And recently, of course, with the current introduction of Power Platform by Microsoft, we now have a Power Platform practice as well to augment some surround solutions for our Dynamics customers. So this has been sort of a nutshell of Sita's journey, Ararat. If you think I have missed out anything specific, feel free to ask, and I'll be happy to
No,
respond.
not really. You actually perfect guess. You answered my next 4 questions already. So that so that's really good. Thank you very much for that detailed introduction and all the explanation. So you mentioned that you started as a reseller and then brushed out to verticals and building add-ons. And now, when we look at your add-ons in your website, there is quite a various businesses, quite a various industries there. So how did you, and so just to mention a few, that's construction, there's jewelry, there's procurement. So there is very interesting industries there. And how did you get that expertise, and how did you become that you grew that domain knowledge in those areas?
Sure. So our first vertical NB projects is basically through our reselling business. We acquired some contracting companies. We implemented Dynamics NAV for them, and we realized that there is quite a bit of additional functionalities any contractor would need, which were not available in Dynamics NAV by default. So we sensed the opportunity to build it as a vertical solution, and that's basically how NB projects came into play. And when we started implementing NB projects for our customers, we also realized that there are some procurement additional functionalities. So initially, when we developed NB projects, was a sort of an all-encompassing solution. Then we realized that this procurement functionality alone can be a value add for other domains as well. Let's say for a manufacturing company or for a retail company and so on. So then we started taking that functionality out and making it as a separate add-on, and we call that as a NB Procure. And we built a vendor collaboration portal as well for the NB Procure. And then if you look at various contractors, when we implement, they also have these huge machineries. So these machineries need to be maintained. So then we ended up creating NB Assets, which is for the maintenance, preventive maintenance or breakdown maintenance, predictive maintenance and all that of these construction equipments. But today NB Assets can work for a manufacturing company also, and we have already implemented NB Assets for some manufacturing companies here in India as well. So that's been, it's always been a sort of an incremental journey. You go into a particular domain, you solve a particular problem, then the customer comes up with an additional problem, then you see there is a gap, so then maybe we can make it as another add-on, and it's sort of one led to another, and now it has become a sort of a machinery where today Wiki keeps coming back to me and saying, can we develop this as an add-on, can we develop this as an add-on, and it's a journey which keeps going and going and going. So that's
Absolutely.
how. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about. I want to talk about when we come to the app itself, because when you look at the projects app, and that alone can be maybe 5 different apps, because it's so feature rich that you can componentize and even productize it in different products, right? Uh, we'll talk about that when we come to the app itself. Now, that was a really good summary of where that knowledge is coming from. You grew with the customer, and as you grew, that one thing led to another. Then you gain knowledge on the other areas, and then you make an app of that. That's great. So, how can you walk me through a little bit about your implementation strategy? I understand there's a partner channel, and it's mostly partner led. But do you also get involved? Because my understanding, especially for constructions, the implementation can be a bit more complex than the standard implementation, perhaps. Does it need your inclusion in the implementation? And if so, how would you support that request?
Yeah. So we keep our partner channel model very flexible because, like you rightly called out, there are cases where partners do need our help because partners come across these opportunities in this, EPC or AEC, architecture, engineering,
Mhm.
construction industry. And, it's probably a one-off customer for them. But for us, it could be the bread and butter. So, they probably may not have the domain expertise to handle that particular domain needs. So
Mhm.
sometimes they do ask us to get involved in specific phases of the project, and in that case, we basically work along with them and we augment their team. So their team will handle the finance and supply chain, for example, whereas we will handle the project management part of the implementation project. So this is also we call it as a joint model, right?
Mhm.
Whereas we do have a complete training and enablement model, which is what a lot of ISVs probably would practice, and we do have that model also. And there are some partners who do take our enablement services, and then they go off and they do the implementation by themselves. This is more so true for NB Procure as an add-on, because it's a sort of
Mhm.
a horizontal add-on, and it's much simpler also to pick up. But in NB projects, though we do have the enablement services, a lot of times we have seen where partners do take the enablement services, but eventually still come back and say, hey, why don't you still help us on the first project at least, and then we take it up subsequently by ourselves, and so on. So we keep that flexible. So based on the partner situation, based on the customer needs, we structure the engagement in joint collaboration with the partner. So yeah.
Fantastic. All right. And so I'll move on to, that's a really good answer. So I'll move on to the your AppSource experience. So you have been, I believe you are one of the early adopters of AppSource, and you put your apps on there from early on. So how is your journey with AppSource so far? Is it playing a good role in terms of your scalability? And so what's your journey with the AppSource so far?
Definitely, yeah. So yeah, like you rightly said, we embraced AppSource right from the beginning. We saw that as a very good initiative from Microsoft to be able to list our apps and to be able to gain attention from partners and customers. And our first listing was with NB Procure, because it's a smaller app compared to the NB project. So we listed that as a first app, and then moved on to NB projects later. And today, our team has gained so much expertise with the listing of apps and app sources and so on, where we are now even providing this assistance to other partners who are probably earlier on in their engagement with app source. So they are not, they are unsure about what are the various documents to prepare and what are the various nuances to handle in our development and so on. We even have a capsule to help other ISVs to list on app source and so on. So that's the level of expertise we have. And in terms of usefulness of AppSource, yes, AppSource helps us to reach out to any part of the globe. Today, we are getting leads from Mexico, we are getting leads from South America, North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, and so on. So, that's the sort of a reach we have. And it's been a wonderful journey. We are today embracing the monetization model, and not all of our apps are on a per user per month basis,
Mhm.
but right now that is the model which Microsoft supports. So we are
Mhm.
seeing which app can move into that, because some of our apps are sometimes a per month fees basis, a flat fee irrespective of the number of users, and some are consumption based. For example, if you take the post dated check, PDC is based on number of checks you will cut from the solution, from the app. So if you go up to 50, it is a free. Beyond 50, it is a flat fee of X dollars per month. So that's a sort of we are again always in close touch with Microsoft. We always tuned into AppSource offerings, and then we become the early adapter for any change they bring on and so on. So yeah, it's been a very wonderful journey with AppSource. Yeah.
Yep. How do you tackle those problems of transactability issues that you have where you have a different model? Do you have your own, uh, say, licensing model that you use your own transactability solution?
Yes. So we do have our own licensing model, and we keep a repository of all our customers. What, when did they sign up with, and when do their renewals come up, and so on. We track them, and then we generate the license keys and share with the customer. Vicky, do you want to say which functionality of Business Central we use to enforce the license keys? It's a restricted object, or what is that?
Isolated storage. So it's basically isolated storage. We will be storing all these key.
Isolated storage.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we use isolated storage to store
Storage. Yeah.
our license keys, and
Okay.
we
Fair enough.
generate the
Yep.
license keys and we share with the partner or the customer. Sometimes we do have direct customers for our apps as well. So that is basically how we are managing our own licensing. But we are definitely keen to get on board with Microsoft's licensing if they are able to support all these variations of the apps licensing model. And as and when they are available, we will definitely jump onto that bandwagon.
Yeah, makes sense. Is that the biggest gap you see in AppSource, or is there any other area that you would see you would prefer have improvement?
I would probably prefer to have some kind of telemetry displayed on the app source itself about the app in terms of number of downloads, maybe number of installs. That could give some sense of authenticity or familiarity of the apps for a new user or something. So
Oh, I thought you have number of downloads information, no? I
Vicky,
might be
do we
wrong.
have yeah, maybe it is there, or maybe
Yeah.
I'm tuned out on that. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. So that's great insights about the app source. Now let's look at the apps you have there. So you have the flagship products of NB projects. That is, I guess that is the biggest solution that you have in there. And
Yeah.
then there is Procure app that you mentioned. And there are some localizations you have, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And India localization, and there's Emirates localization, and there's also you already mentioned a few post-dated checks you have there. I'm just naming them so that the listeners have an understanding of which apps you have in there.
Sure.
And there's quality management app.
Yeah.
There's an NB assets, that's your enterprise asset management.
Yes.
You create your recorders, and it's a good solution for asset heavy industries. And we mentioned the Procure as well. And there's a Jubal solution as well. That's also another vertical that you have in
Yeah.
there. And there's an F&O solution for food and beverage. That's your accepted or F&O solution there. And there's a credit app, credit management. And that's pretty much it. If you would like to single out one of them other than the projects app, which one would it be that you want to highlight a little bit?
Apart from NB projects, which is the mothership, we call it internally,
Okay.
I would want to call out NB Procure, because I definitely see a lot of potential for NB Procure, and there is a partner in Maldives. Actually, they implement NB Procure's BC Granule, not necessarily the portal, but the BC Granule for pretty much all of their customers. Whenever they sign up a BC customer, they always become a NB Procure's customer. That's the
Okay.
level of adoption that they have.
Is that
And
the partner in Maldives you said?
Maldives, yes, correct.
Might be the partner I spoke last week in
Oh,
podcast.
okay. Is it
It's
okay?
Is it Pi Networks?
Pi Networks is the
There
partner.
you go.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yeah,
spoke with
correct.
them in the last episode, in the previous
Yeah,
episode.
yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Very nice people. Yeah.
Good
So,
coincidence. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So NB Procure, the reason is that, some of the very simple functionalities like, purchase requisition, quote comparison,
Mhm.
or, if you have a consignment sale model, how do you handle, or, if you have, um, if you float open tenders, how do you manage it? There are a lot of these small, rebates, for example. Rebates can be a big thing, right? How do you track
Mhm.
rebates and generate, credit notes on time, things like that. So a lot of these smaller, additional functionalities are put together in one single app. And in fact, right now we are even building a marketplace connector with Amazon business to business, B2B,
Mm.
and that just went live recently as well. So definitely we see a lot of potential for NB Procure, and we hope with more marketing efforts and more visibility across various geographies, we hope many partners will embrace NB Procure like the partner in Maldives did. So
Yeah,
that is the product which I would want to call out after NB projects. Yeah.
sure. That's really good. Thank you very much for that. Now we'll focus on the NB projects. And can you first talk a little bit about NB projects, what kind of businesses use it, and then we'll take the conversation from there.
Yeah, Definitely. So if you look at NB projects, we approached this slightly from a different point of view, where a lot of solutions we see out there are more project accounting based solutions, whereas we feel ours is a project management solution. It encompasses various aspects of a project and not just the project accounting principle of it. So from that point of view, we totally built our solution on project management institutes, 9 knowledge areas, which are mentioned in the PMBOK, we call it Project Management Book of Knowledge. So, whether it is time, whether it is cost, whether it is scope, whether it is issue tracking, effort, risk tracking, everything we have built within NB projects, so that it becomes a one all-encompassing project management solution for any project-driven enterprise, right? And it could be a civil contractor, it could be a MEP contractor, it could be interior fit out players, it could be infrastructure players who build roads and bridges and dams, it could be just a residential home builder, and all kinds of contractors are basically addressed in our solution. And not only contractors, we also have a promotion module which can be helpful for a home builder or a commercial builder who builds and sells the properties. So we do have that promotion module which helps in building and selling the property as well. So from that is one of the reason why it becomes really a complete solution. And in terms of functionalities, you see, you will have the estimation module, you will have the project management module, you will have the subcontracting module, because if your model is more based on subcontractors, so how do you manage them? We have retention, we handle, you know, all kinds of functionalities. And when you talk about managing the schedule, we do a integration, two-way integration with MS Project, so that you can bring in the latest updates from the schedule, and then base your procurement decisions or subcontracting decisions based on the revised timelines. So we see the commercials and the timelines go together in our solution, so that people can manage the cash flow better, people can proactively control the budget. So the kind of budget controls is very deep and ingrained in every single functionality of our solution. Right from purchase requisition stage, we validate the budget and say, hey, you are within the budget, or you are going above the budget, that sort of a thing. So that is the biggest value proposition. And it is not just the functionality within Business Central. They've also built various bolt-ons around NB projects itself. Like, for example, MS Project add-on is one thing I mentioned to you. We also have something called as a BOQ import utility, so that a lot of times customers, our customers who are contractors, they get the list of work to be done from a architect or from the end customer. So they will need to import that into the Business Central for the estimation purposes. So we built that tool, and we also did in terms of estimation, we introduced AI capabilities, where system will be able to look at the various bill of quantities which are there in the system. We built a model, and then the current BOQ will be compared with the model, and the system will automatically suggest this should be your estimate, this should be your kind of materials to be purchased for this particular activity, these are the kind of resources you will need for the that kind of a so we've been continually improving the product. And I started talking about add-ons. So the Excel import utility is one. We also have a site app built on Power Apps, so that the site users can use only the mobile device to manage all their activities, whether it be initiating a requisition, or whether it be receiving the goods or issuing the goods to the construction activity. All that sort of activities are managed using the site app. So from that point of view, it is a like I said, all encompassing solution which addresses all aspects of a construction project. So that's how I would actually describe NB projects. Yeah.
That's a great summary. Thank you very much. My question would be, so the app itself, has its own little modules that you can use, right? And for example, estimations on its own, or the subcontracting management on its own, can be a solution on app as well. So is this a strategical decision of having them all in one in place, or was it difficult to actually componentize them, and it was easier to have like a one big, massive solution to put in there? Or what is the decision? What is the thought process behind that decision of
Yeah.
having everything in one app in AppSource?
And this is one question which keeps coming up in our internal reviews also.
Okay.
Why we should keep it as one solution? Can we not slice and dice it? And in fact, there is one situation where one of our customers wanted only the estimation module, and we did implement only the estimation module. But now they are interested in looking at other modules as well.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about why we are not separating it as a separate apps is that any contracting company would have more or less the need to estimate, the need to manage the timelines, the need to engage subcontractors, the need to be able to do progressive billing to a customer. I see very difficulty in compartmentalizing it. So that is one of the reason why we said we need to appeal to the construction industry, and for us this has to be a one single app. And yeah, it's not just a small add-on. That is why we call it as a vertical add-on. So this addresses one complete verticals needs basically in one single app. So we compare ourselves with sometimes like LS Retail, who is the pioneer in add-ons within the Dynamics NAV space. So when we look at them, LS Retail has point of sale, LS Retail has loyalty module, promotion module, a lot of functionalities for a retailer. So for a retailer, you need all those functionalities together. And so that is how we also see for our add-on is required for end-to-end management of a construction company, and hence we are still sticking to it as a one single app.
Sure, fair enough. You don't half give your solution, so you always give everything. And I mean, one might argue there might be a lighter company that might only use, say, subcontract management, and what's in the standard might be good enough. And in that cases, they might not want to pay for the all functionalities, kind of a thing. But I understand the thought process as well. And most of the companies, constructions especially, will need more or less everything in the projects, NB projects. Okay, that's a really good answer. So there are other constructions apps as well on AppSource, and one of the challenges of AppSource is actually finding the right app for your customer. So if I ask what is different in your app, or what makes your app stands out from the other construction solutions?
I think the main difference I would want to call out is the like I said, a project management centric approach in the product rather than a project accounting approach
Mm,
for an add-on. So we definitely see that many apps are approaching it from the accounting aspect of it, whereas we are looking at it as the project management aspect of it. So this is, I would say, is the one main differentiator. Apart from that, of course, our add-ons like MS Project Integration or BOK Import Utility and the site apps. So those are all additional value adds which we have, which not every app might have. So
mm,
those are some of the other. But the primary would be the project accounting versus project management.
okay.
Outlook is what I would want to call.
Is Are there local challenges when you try to implement this solution in different countries, or is it mostly fits in almost any country?
No, actually, the localization challenges do exist,
Mm,
and we try to work with either some local consultants who are familiar with the territory, because main area of difference would be in the retentions. Right, so
mm,
we have built for our markets like India, Middle East, and we do have a partner in Ireland who represent our solutions. So for Ireland also, we have tried to look at the localization needs and try to incorporate and so on. But if it is a newer market, definitely I do see the retention area being one of the area which needs to be localized. So we either try to engage a consultant in the local market, understand the requirement and build it ourselves, or we rely on a partner. So if a partner has the complete know-how of those localization requirements, then we encourage the partner to develop that as a dependent app to NB
mhm.
projects and then take it to that market. So that is the two ways we proceed with the localization challenge.
Okay. Yep. Understand that. Is there anything else you want to add on the project app?
Um, No, I think we pretty much have discussed it. So, with our complete offering as well as
Mhm.
our partner-led flexible partner approaches, we feel there is much more headroom for NB projects to grow, and that is basically where we are, focusing on building the channel further and so on. Yeah.
Okay, I'll then jump into a bit of technical stuff, and I'll pick up from your previous comment on the partner can build an app, a PTE, on top of your app. So, what are the tools or what are the documentations are in place for that partner to actually have an understanding of how to extend your app? Do
Yeah.
you have this sort of documentation in terms of technical documentation for partners to actually know how to extend it?
Yeah. Definitely. So since we have been selling the now build, which is the NB projects earlier, right from the Dynamics NAV days through partners. So when the extension architecture came into place, we realized the importance of publishers. So when we moved the Dynamics NAV product into Business Central as the extensions, we put in publishers wherever we thought it would make logical sense, and we have a document called as publisher list of publisher document, and it is clearly laid out so that the partners or the end customer themselves can extend our app and build their own PTE. So this is number one. Number two is when we do enabling services to partners, we make sure that we specifically cover the list of publishers, tell them the relevance, tell them the context for what kind of requirement they should extend which particular publisher and so on. So that has always been there in our, you could say in our DNA, because we have always worked with partners, so we know the pain points of partners when they take an add-on. So we want to make sure that how do we make that journey simpler, smoother, and so on. So that is enablement is another service. Apart from all this, we also do turnaround for specific publisher requests, because whatever all said and done, we still get requests for additional publishers for specific requirements of a customer, and we quickly turn them around and then publish those additional publishers as a special request. We don't necessarily wait for a monthly release of our app. Sometimes
Mhm.
these publishers, we know it's going to be required within a few days, for example. So we have a specific quick turnaround times for such additional publisher request as well. So with these three approaches, with all around the publishers, you can say, we are
Mhm.
able to meet out customers or partners need of extending our app.
Sure, fantastic. And you still have on-prem customers as well as obviously SaaS customers with your app on AppSource. And my question would be, how would you manage a solution this big for different versions, especially for living in different platforms? Would you have different code base, or you go to the extent of having one code base and trying to cater for everything in there?
No, actually, that is actually a challenge. You rightly called out. Dynamics NAV is a separate code base, and Business Central is a separate code base. And within NAV also, we do have even today customers on 2016, customers on 2013
Mm.
or two, customers on 2018. So we still have those, and then we are still supporting them. Business Central, is relatively easier, but of course we have embraced Azure DevOps. We have embraced GitHub for our source code control. We have very tight controls of branching, merging, and all
Mhm.
these good practices on the source code control in place. So that's how we have been able to manage it. But there are some specific incidents where we had to uh, downgrade our functionalities built on Business Central specific to
Mm.
a NAV customer also. Even today, we do take up those while we try to avoid it, but sometimes it's not avoidable. So we end up ceding to such requests from partners as well.
Right.
So that's the
My
way.
question were mostly on the Business Central side. So nav is granted, the core is living in a different era, let's say, and your VS Code project and your AI project, do you have different versions for uh, different code bases for different versions, or do you manage them all of them in the same place? Because that's a challenge I face in my own daily work as well.
Yeah.
And I see benefits of both. So I'm curious about how you guys are tackling that.
Sure. As far as I know, and I'll let Vicky, supplement my answer. For every major release, we do have a separate code base. That is my understanding. Vicky, do you want to elaborate this further?
Yes, Murali. So basically, so whenever we release a new major version, we
Vicky,
actually
your voice is
aligning with.
feeble. Actually, can you
Oh,
speak up a little bit more?
okay. So my basically we are aligning with Microsoft Business Central release. So whenever Microsoft releasing a major version, so we also update our version to make that particular version compatibility, and then we will release. And each and every major release will be a separate repository in our DevOps. And based on that, and each and every customers or any minor version would be, we will be managing in branches, and everything will be managed through pipeline, and it get deployed AppSource automatically, even for customers as well.
Okay. So just to relay what Vicky said, because his voice is a little feeble.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is basically for each major version. There is a
Yeah.
separate repository, and there would
Okay.
be branches for specific, let's say, localization or specific, customer builds. If we do, things like that. That's basically how we are managing. And he also mentioned about usage of pipelines to automate the
Sure.
deployment. Yeah. So that's basically what it is. Yeah.
Great. Do you use a managed solution in terms of those pipelines, a managed CI/CD solution, or you have your own? You build your own pipelines to
Yeah, we have
cater
our
all
own
those.
pipeline.
We build
Yeah.
our own pipelines, right, Vicky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that's based on the BC container helper, right?
Yes, obviously, yes.
Yeah, his answer is yes.
Yeah. Because you guys are physically closer, you can maybe hear each other, but but I'm at the end of the world, having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about his
Okay.
audio.
Yeah, no stress. I'll hopefully at the end and at the post edit, I'll be able to increase the volume. Okay, so that's a good answer, and maybe I'll ask this as well. So the basic container helper is, there's going to be some changes and it will be deprecated. Do you guys have any plan in place to embrace that change?
Yes, so Microsoft has said this, though they will be not going to support basic container helper anymore, since due to some
Vicky, can you imagine I'm at the end of the street and you're trying to shout to me, right? Yeah.
Okay.
We're at the both ends of the street and you try to reach out to me. The mic isn't, forget about the mic. The mic isn't working. Let's
Okay.
shout.
Okay. So probably Microsoft has, you know what? So
That's not
they,
shouting, my friend. That is.
so
That's okay. That's okay. You carry on. I'll do this.
okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
they started. They said that they will not support this BC container helper anymore. So actually, from our side, so we thought of we are trying two approach. So you know what, this kind of building our own pipeline to deploy this automation through these artifacts and version automatic installation. And another one is kind of, so why don't we adopt this GitHub ALGO GitHub. So that is one more option we are looking at. So these are the two areas we are looking. And also from our product, so we already had tried of, so how Microsoft is giving containers for Business Central. So similar to the same area. So we also trying to give our own, a container image to be published in some repository, and even from partners or customers, they can pull that image and then they can use for their needs. So that is also we are trying in-house lab.
That's fantastic. Yeah. If I heard correctly, of course.
I think the answer is ALGO for GitHub or own pipeline. These are the
Yeah.
two.
So I understand that. So testing different solutions right now. I think you're not the only partner. Obviously, many partners are in the same boat, and we're perhaps looking into other managed solutions. And what you said about your having your own image so that partners can use is also a great thing, and that's, I imagine you would use it for your own development as well. Your developers can pull that image to build their solutions on in their own isolated environment. That's a good answer. Thank you very much. And I want to jump onto your community engagement, your collaboration. Do you guys active in community events? Do you go to directions? And what are your impressions on or your experience with the community engagement?
Yeah, sure. We have been participating in Directions Asia, for quite a long year. So we are quite known. A lot of times people don't even sometimes recall our company name. They recall our product, saying, "Oh, these are the now build guys."
Nabil, guys. Okay.
Now build guys. So, yeah, that's a kind of a recall we have
Yeah.
been able to set in the Asia Pacific market.
Yeah.
Now we are slowly.
Next time I see you, Murali, that's what I'm gonna call.
Sure. And now we are also trying to expand to other geographies. So we are participating in Directions EMEA for a couple of years now. And we have been also participating in Community Summit in North America. And we will be experimenting with Directions North America in next April as well. So these are
Okay.
all some of the community events because, add-on selling is all through partners. So more partners come into our visibility. It is always, better for us. So that is one channel we constantly do. Apart from, of course, the typical digital marketing like the webinars or partner reach outs through LinkedIn, and all those are still happening. But definitely we do use the conferences on a yearly basis. We at least participate in 3 or 4 conferences in a year to build that visibility among the partner ecosystem. Yeah.
Yep, that's great. And any plans to join Directions ANZ?
We were there. I don't know whether it is Directions ANZ, but we were there for Community Summit or
Yeah.
something. There was one happened in Melbourne, right?
In
I was,
Sydney. So
yeah.
so there's a Directions happening in Sydney. This year
Yeah.
is gonna be the second one,
Okay.
and it's gonna be in November.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. So
Sure.
if you'd be there, that'd be great to meet you in person as well.
Sure.
Um,
Definitely. We'll do that. Yeah.
yeah. So looking ahead, I want to ask what's exciting happening in your labs. So what's cooking in your lab? Is there any new features coming up, or is there any new apps that you guys are working on? A bit of insights of what's happening in Cetas.
Yeah, more than building new apps, we are now focusing on building cool things for our existing apps. And Copilot or AI has been
Mm,
happening in a big way. So we want to embrace that change and bring those cool things into the product. For example,
okay.
one of the things we are doing is our NV assets as a module. We have the predictive maintenance capability, but how do we
Mm,
get the data to predict, right? So we are now working with IoT devices to be able to get sensor data on various equipments which are there, and then these sensors will then be able to tell us the kind of operating environment, and using that the system can automatically trigger a work order and say, hey, this equipment needs attention. There is a leakage in the valve, or there is a overheating in the boiler, or things like that can be predicted even
mhm.
before somebody visits the equipment and somebody visually sees it or something like that. So that is something we are currently working on. And there are certain
And what's
additional.
AI? May I ask what AI is in doing in the? What is the use case for AI in the? I'm getting confused because where automation starts and where AI starts. Because all you said can be a full automation, right? Because that's what we're
Yeah,
doing. But now, what is the AI aspect in that
yeah.
scenario?
Sure, sure. No, maybe I started with AI, but jumped on to IoT. So IoT is just an
Oh,
automation. You are right. And AI is basically, like I said, within the NB project's estimation module. So
right.
using the existing bill of quantities database, we are able to build a model. And
Mm,
predict the red card to be used for a new BOQ when the tender comes up. So that is one capability we have built within NB projects, and we are also looking at image computer vision basically. So, for example, in terms of quality check, our quality module, what we want to be able to do is, if people are able to give us visuals of the good product versus faulty products, we will be able to train the model on that. And as the product comes into packing, or as the product comes out of the production, we will be able to capture those images and compare with the model and be able to predict quality products versus faulty products. So that can actually help in filling in a quality worksheet, posting a quality order, so that it's more proactive, right? So that is one aspect we are currently working on. So these are all some of the areas we are working on to embrace the AI capabilities and bring them into our add-ons.
Yep, may I ask you something? Do you try to find use cases for AI, or do you find the use case and say, oh, okay, AI can be a good tool to solve this? Because in many cases, people, I think, try to find use cases for AI, and that is like, okay, we have a solution now, let's find a problem kind of a thing. So what is your approach in this AI
Um,
journey?
Actually, it is finding the use case is the journey which I'm taking, because I have been traveling now and meeting all customers, not necessarily our add-on customers, even general business central customers, and understand their problems and see whether AI can be a good use case for that particular situation. So that has been my approach so far, and that's what we as an organization, we are meeting customers, we are talking to customers, understanding their problems, and see whether AI can be used there. So that's been our approach. So yeah.
Okay, no, that makes sense. We'll wrap it up quickly, slowly. Not quickly. Is there any messages that you wanna forward to the community? Can be a message to Microsoft, or a message to community. What would you say as your final notes?
Um, See, with the kind of automation which the AI is bringing, and Microsoft is building more functionalities at a much more rapid pace than we have ever seen, I definitely see there is going to be a reduction in the amount of time we spend in implementing Business Central. So, from that point of view, how do we then optimize the implementation time frame? How do we identify the right add-ons and make the journey simpler and drive more value out of the existing platform investment which customers make? So, from that point of view, I think add-ons definitely have a large say in the journey going forward. And from that point of view, your initiative of putting up these podcasts to help customers in identifying the add-ons fit really nicely. So I think the message I would say is, how do we embrace this change of reduced implementation timelines, and still as partners we all have to make business sense of running this business, right? So how do we then do that? More collaborations, more add-on led implementations will definitely be the key going forward, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yep, that's a great message. And Vicky, can we get a message from you as well, just before we go? If your mic works.
Any technical message you want to talk about, Vicky, in terms of the trends, or what do you think?
Yes.
What do you see as a
Yeah.
trend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the current trend, as you know, so Microsoft is heavily investing in this AI part. So my recommendation to all the partners around the world would be like, so try to adopt on those areas, get more exploration. So be ready for the upcoming release, because there are lots cooking in Microsoft Lab. So as a partner, we should be ready to face all those things, and we need to take that to our customer place, and then get out of it, so that customer will get benefit on that area.
Yep. Physically leaning, even though it's not gonna do any difference. But thank you very much for the message. And what is the best way for people to get in touch with you guys if they want to know more about your product, or basically just get in touch to collaborate?
I think we can be seen in AppSource. Just type in the word Cetas, you'll be able to see all our add-ons. And of course, people can visit our website, cetastech.com, and have a look at all our add-ons and be able to get in touch with us through our contact us form and so on. So that would be the easiest way to get in touch. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. I'll put those notes under the episode description as well. And thank you both. Thank you, Wiki. Thank you, Murali, for all the insights and taking the time to be in the podcast. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for listeners for tuning in to listen to this episode of AppSource Central. Thanks again for everyone, and talk to you soon. Bye.